Hello everyone, it's Jeremy here again. Today I wanted to talk to you about my 7 cornerstones of amazing health. And these really are the foundations of health, and it makes sense before going to medications, before going and getting prescriptions, and before getting on supplements. You want to get those real foundations of health right. And those are getting that fullness of breath, getting enough water, eating real food instead of processed food, getting enough exercise, also time in being still and resting as well, the way you use your self-talk, and also having that passion and purpose as well. So the first cornerstone around your breath is to make sure you're getting that fullness of breath. Quite often you'll see people walking down the street kind of hunched over, there'll be the head protruding forward, the shoulders are hunched, and there's not really that fullness of breath. And when the breath is full, there's also that fullness of life there as well. My old meditation teacher used to say that her breath was her best friend, and it was something that was always there with her. And it's true, no matter what's going on, you can always pause, focus on that breathing, and that's something that's always there for you. The second cornerstone is around getting enough water. Interestingly, the body uses oxygen and water both as fuel before using anything else. Before carbohydrates, before proteins, before burning fat, it uses oxygen and water first as fuel for the body, and also for repairing the body as well. Your brain is about 85% water. Most of your muscles are between 70 to 75% water. Even your bones are about 25% water. So making sure you're hydrated is good for the brain, the muscles, also the bones as well. A lot of people with osteoporosis, arthritis and bone problems actually are dehydrated as well. The third cornerstone of health is around eating real food. And it doesn't get too much more simple than this. If something has a single ingredient, it's a real food. If something comes in a packet and has a whole big ingredients list, you know it's been processed in some way and probably isn't a food anymore. So think about fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes, beans, all those sorts of things combined into a meal are real foods, and you know you're getting that thing that something is actually good for the body. Without having to worry about too much about should I eat this or should I eat that. Just go back to those real foods with those single ingredients. When I was coming back from chronic fatigue, that was the first thing my nutritionist put me on, was having rice, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and these sort of things for a period of time. And my body seemed to reset itself, and instead of going for processed sugars for energy and processed foods, the body started to burn other things and protein and fats as a way to fuel the body instead of going for those processed sources. So the next cornerstone of health is exercise. You know that old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And continual growth is always the key there. You probably had an experience before where you had a month off exercise or maybe even 6 months off exercise, and you know when you go back to it, the body wasn't quite as flexible and as strong as it was before. So always keeping that continual growth going. One of the really important keys too with exercise is to do something fun, something where you get the heart rate up, but also where you sweat as well, and that's where real growth happens. And that's why the 12-week challenge has so many different types of exercise. Things that are fun, lots of group activities where you're having fun, but also where you are getting the heart rate up there as well. The next cornerstone of health is around being still and having that rest as well. You want to have that balance between doing something, taking action, but also in rest as well. Some people are really good at being busy, really good at taking action, getting stressed, looking after work, looking after the kids, looking after everything. And they don't just take that time to just pause and rest as well. I know this is something Jared's very passionate about as well, which is where we just stop and pause and be in that space, just noticing what's going on. That could just be a 20, 30-minute period of the day where you meditate, where you stop and just breathe, or where you do something that's nurturing for yourself there as well. On the other side of things, some people are really good at not doing much at all. There might be times of procrastinating, being lazy, just going with the flow. For those people, exercise and taking action will be the balance point for them. So you want to have that good balance between taking action, but also between resting and just being still and being present as well. The next cornerstone of health is probably one of my favourite ones, which is around our self-talk. Being a hypnotherapist, I'm so much aware of what goes on with our thoughts and how that can impact our mind and even impact our physical body there as well. The one habit I'd recommend for you to take into consideration for this 12-week challenge is to start a gratitude ritual, whether that be in the morning or at night, but just stopping in that moment and being grateful for 5 things until you either get that tear in the eye or you get that feeling in the heart of just being truly grateful for something in your life. And of course, the more things you are grateful for, the more you get to be grateful for as well. And the last cornerstone of health is around passion and purpose. And that's doing something that you love, either for yourself or finding some sort of purpose where it's not just about you, whether that's about other people, society in general, animal welfare, but something that's either you're really passionate about for yourself or really passionate about for others as well. And finding that thing that gets you up in the morning where you say, yeah, that's what I'm getting up for. Finding that thing that's really meaningful to you, whatever that might be, and having that focus on that and growing that part of your life on a daily and weekly basis as well. If you have a bit of trouble kind of thinking, oh, I don't know what my purpose is, I'm not sure what that whole passion thing's about, follow your curiosity. Follow that which interests you the most, and that will lead you to your passion. But it's not always about that rah-rah excitement, passion, but just following that thing that intrigues you or interests you the most, and letting that lead you to something that can give you more vitality and more of that feeling of fullness in life as well. 80% of people that I meet through my consulting don't have these 7 cornerstones of health working for them. Many people might only have 2 or 3 of those working for them. So 80% of people who have either a sleep problem, struggling with depression or emotional problems, definitely with weight loss, don't follow those 7 cornerstones of health, those absolute essentials to getting health right. And that is, again, getting that fullness of breath and getting more oxygen in the body. And we know that exercise can provide that for us. Getting enough water so you can clear out the system. Eating real food with a single ingredient instead of processed food. Spending time in exercise and action, but also time in being still and resting as well. Having that focus on gratitude. And I guess one of the other interesting things about having a gratitude ritual, when you're in that space, that energy space of being grateful, it's really hard to feel anything else at that time. So it's something that does become a space where you're just grateful and present at that time. And again, having that passion and that purpose, or that thing that intrigues you or that you're curious about that you can follow to lead that more fulfilling life. Through this process of transforming your life through this 12-week challenge, it won't be a total overhaul of your whole life. It'll just be about adding some of these little things into your daily ritual, adding some of these little habits consistently over time, so that that's something that stays with you for the long term. One of the reasons I focus on the 7 cornerstones of health, which is the absolute essentials, is I don't want a short-term fix, a quick diet, a quick thing that's not going to last for the long term. You want something you could stick to for a year or even for your whole life, because you know it's something that works and it's something that doesn't have downsides. And that's probably one other great thing about these 7 cornerstones of health, is they're free, they've got no downsides, and they're all good for you and make you feel good and increase that vitality, which is something we all want. So thanks again for listening. If you've got any questions, feel free to personal message either myself or Jared on Facebook. And I look forward to chatting again with you all very soon. Have a great day.